Begin Self-Publishing, episode number 51. Self-Publishing for Quality.
Interested in self-publishing but don't know where to start? Want to get your book onto Amazon? Want to hold your paperback book in your hands? Learn how on the Begin Self-Publishing podcast with your host, Tim Lewis.
In my last show, I talked about the motivation of self-publishing for profit, which I'm guessing many of you would say is the main reason that you would want to self-publish, to make money. However, there is also a parallel motivation, which is self-publishing for quality, which is to produce the best possible product that you can. I think there is an awful lot to be said for using this approach to self-publishing. So why wouldn't you necessarily want to go down the money maximising route? I think the main problem you would have with the other approach is it's very difficult to judge what level of quality is just enough that your book will look above average and look very enticing for those people who buy it, but isn't it too expensive? This level keeps changing all the time as more and more quality self-publishers and other people will come into the space. And also what people will expect from the market when they buy a self-published book. A couple of years ago, people quickly knocking up error-strewn EPUB files could get away with it and still have sales if the information in those books or the stories were good enough. And obviously if the pricing was right. But now this is becoming increasingly difficult for people to do to actually make money. The so-called Kindle gold rush is over. If you're purely focusing on producing the best quality product that you can afford, then this maximum quality level isn't really an issue, because you're almost certainly likely to be well over the level needed to be whatever the market wants. The great issue, of course, with the quality route is it is expensive. There's almost an issue that you could spend as much money as you like on a self-published book. And certainly, as those of you who heard my episode with Chrissy Parker will know, that there are some companies that take advantage of this desire for quality and use slightly dubious marketing and other practices to try and get people to spend as much money with their self-publishing, assisted publishing company. But there are also companies such as Silverwood Books, which you may have heard about with my interview with Lucienne Boyce in episode 34, where she was very happy with the quality of books she had with the assisted publishing service. In the self-publishing for quality world, print does matter, even though we all know that print actually isn't a great source of monetary wealth. It does have a tremendous feeling in terms of adding an air of quality to your book. And people are still impressed by paperback books in a way they just aren't with ebooks. You can even create hardbacks and things like that with a service such as Ingram Spark, which will actually allow you to print on demand hardback books as well as paperback books. You can find out more about Ingram Spark in my interview with Andy Bromley on episode 22. You can even go and actually ask a printer to run a short run of print books off for you. So they'll say print out 500 copies of your book. This will get the average cost of each book down, but you obviously have to store those 500 books somewhere until you can sell them. I did an interview with Jane Davis. In fact, it was my first ever interview in episode 13, where we talked about doing short print runs. If you want to go for the ultimate credibility play, that is, showing people that you're actually a really high-quality self-published author, then you might want to consider the really hard task of getting your books into some bookstores. I Talked about this with Debbie Young in episode 21. It's certainly not for the faint-hearted, and it's because you're up against publishers who have teams of people to go around talking to booksellers and bookstores, trying to plug books to them, where you're just an indie author who has to go around and doing the same job yourself. However, it is possible, and some people have done it, certainly on a local level. And with enough organisation behind you, you probably could get stocked in a big chain. I don't think it ought to be particularly profitable for you. It's really just for credibility. If you're going down the quality route, then obviously you want to get the highest quality services you can. So you could go to a service like Readsy. They have a whole series of services that people have used, and in fact some people in traditional publishing use, for things like editing and book cover design. You can also spend time and money on things like developmental editing, which are used quite extensively in traditional publishing, but aren't necessarily used that much in self-publishing. All of these things help to increase the quality of your book. Even interior formatting, which is something for most books people could do themselves with the right software. If you find a really good designer for doing interiors, then this may make the difference between a great product and a good product. But of course, you need to be careful that you're not just paying somebody who then just creates an EPUB file from Scrivener. They actually have to be doing proper design work on your interior. One of the main advantages of doing the self-publishing for quality route is for those people who are using their book as a business card, as an indication of their knowledge in a particular area, then this quality will make them look extremely professional over and above those people who've just created a quick and dirty CreateSpace book with lots of errors in it. It's the same thing as people who give you a nicely embossed business card as opposed to a tatty piece of paper with their number scrawled on it. People will associate the quality of the book with all their preconceived ideas about publishing. And many of the more snobby people who would only look at traditionally published books won't notice that you've actually gone the self-published route, especially if you use your own author imprint. So should you go for the quality route? I certainly think you should think about it if you can afford to do so. If making money out of books is your prime motivation, then you really can't spend too much on the quality route. But if you're looking for self-publishing as a way to actually create a book to show off your knowledge in a particular area, or if you have the financial resources to actually pay for a quality self-published book, then it's certainly a route to consider. You're probably unlikely to have a product that you're not proud of if you go down the quality route as opposed to the profit route. However, don't expect necessarily to not spend a lot of money and then suddenly have lots of money coming in from the book. You could easily spend a lot of money on a good product and then find you can't sell it. This is true for any product. While there's a certain amount you can get from good marketing, sometimes for reasons that nobody understands, very good products just don't sell. But at least if you make a quality product, then you can at least feel some pride in that at least. So that's my summary of the two themes of self-publishing that have come out from my show so far. I've got quite a few interviews lined up now for the next 5 or 6 weeks. Some of them are covering marketing, social media, the cost of self-publishing. So this will be the last solo show for a while. I'm sure there will be some more solo shows after that. Talk to you guys next week.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed today's show, please stop by iTunes and rate and leave a review. This helps make the show more visible. For free resources, show notes, and other helpful content, join the community at beginselfpublishing.com.